clothes, and he went to work in a leather factory as a tacker.
Yeah, I remember you working there.
Okay, and what the tacker done was they had a big load of leather. Okay, and there were two guys, one at each end. One gets the head, one gets the tail, and they had a long 4x4 board together, and they had a big knife, and they used to take the knife and cut the sheep in half.
I was going to
Cut
say,
the-
you're talking about the animal head to tail.
Yeah, cut the dead animal, cut the skin in half. Okay, so when you did that, it just automatically fell down into the bottom floor where the tanning was.
Yeah, I'd join the Marine Corps rather than do that.
Yeah. Anyways, I can remember that. And then we were playing baseball, and when they had Pearl Harbor, yeah, I can remember we were playing football in high school, and there was a man used to come every day and watch us play. So, anyways, he knew everybody, and it was the last day of spring practice. Anyways, we had a stairs that went down, and that's where the locker room was down on the basement floor.
Okay.
So anyways, as we come out, he says, if you guys are looking for a job, come see me at Corn Leather. Anyway, we went to Corn Leather, and we were working in the cellar. And in the cellar, did they give us boots? I remember. They gave us boots.
Kind of like those big wader kind of boots.
But anyways, there was a pile of, did you ever see the burlap bags that potatoes come in when they ship the potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'd get one of those and wrap them around our legs.
To keep the cow stuff off you?
And then put the boots on top of those, you know.
Okay.
And we had a big apron, like a vest.
Yeah.
Anyways, the guy's name was Eddie Yabansky. And you had to join the union. And at that time, they had 3 different unions working in the leather factories. There was the CIO, the AFL, and I forget what the other one was. Anyway, the CIO guy who says, we joined the AFL. The AFL guy would come and say, we joined the CIA. We got away with that for about 6 months. Anyways, with payday, and we went in on payday, we would get our check. So we went to get our check, and our boss says, sorry guys, you have to go to the office to get your check. So Mrs. Lowe was her name. Lowe, yeah. They had a machine shop, but anyways, she was one of the daughters, and she was the person that met us at the gate, and we said we came to get our paycheck, but they don't have it at work, and she says, well, you don't get your paycheck until you join the union.
Make you do it.
So we had to join the union there. Oh, jeez, I remember those.
So were you working there when you heard about Pearl Harbor being bombed?
We were playing baseball.
Okay.
I remember that. We're in Marblehead. I don't know if you know what Marblehead is.
I remember that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the ocean.
Yeah, next to Salem, Marblehead.
Yeah.
Beautiful beach there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Devereaux. But anyways, we worked there for, I don't know how many years. Eddie Abansky.
Well, so when did you join the Marine Corps then? Because didn't you go to college for a year on a football scholarship? You broke your leg and wasn't able to finish?
I'm trying to remember how it happened.
Because you were saying your grades weren't good enough to stay in.
Anyways,
to keep
I
your
remember
scholarship.
I was in Plattsburgh, New York. I think I was in Plattsburgh. Anyways, the two of us. I was in Plattsburgh, New York. Yeah. That's where I went to school, in Plattsburgh. Plattsburgh was on the Canadian border.
Oh, way up there. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it was it was a military base, is what it was.
Okay.
So, anyways, it was after the war.
Yeah.
So that's what they had. You could go there and take college classes.
Mm-hmm. So what made you join the Marine Corps?
Trying to remember. I had a friend, his name was Bobby O'Connor. And Bobby's father owned a leather factory. I remember that. I think his father died, or anyways. Anyways, we were doing something. Then I can remember, I forget, we were doing something, we were both in trouble in school. Anyways, I come home and I had to tell my mother because I had to get something from her to go back to school. And I was crying and I woke up my father.
Uh-oh.
And he come down and he was pissed off. I mean, he was pissed off. So anyways, when I come home, I told my mother I was in trouble and I wanted to join the army. Everybody was going into the army
Okay.
in those days, you know. So anyways, I woke up my father.
He worked at night on the police
He
force?
Yeah, he worked at midnight he worked the night shift on the police department.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was pissed off anyways, he told me to get dressed and wear an old jacket. And I didn't know where we were. Anyways, we went and we drove up to Boston and we went to the Marine Corps. We went to the recruiting station. And it was a train station.
Yeah.
Like the train station was over here. Train station was over here, and the recruiting office was over here. And you could just go across the street. And up here on the hill was a state house.
Okay.
So anyways, here my father drove me up to the Army recruiting office. And when they said, well, you got to have a birth certificate to prove that you're 16 years old or whatever it was. I guess it was 16. So anyways,
You were that young when you joined the Marine Corps?
yeah, my father I was still in high school. I was still in high school.
So did you go to college after the Marine
Yeah,
Corps?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So anyways, I
You were just a baby.
oh yeah, I was up there with my father, and anyways, they said, well, you need a birth certificate to prove that you're 16 years of age. And my father, he knew his way around, so he goes up to the State House, and he gets a copy of my birth certificate from in those days, everything went to the state.
Yeah.
Everything went to the state. So he come down, I had the birth certificate, and drove me over to the train station. He said goodbye. I didn't even know where the hell I was going.
Are you kidding me, Dad?
No.
I have never heard this story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're making me
But
cry.
he put me on the train, and we got on the train, and we came to. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of the name of the city.
Well, did you even get to say goodbye to Grandma or your brothers?
Nobody. I left, gone. I was long gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah. So, anyways, geez, I remember that Marine Corps. We got off we got off the train, and it was like there was a cross train, and there was a little train station there, and we walked over there. There was another kid with me, and we walked over there, and they said, "Well, stay here for a little while." He says, the station master will be here pretty soon." Station master was a Marine Corps.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
anyway, so the guy walked, the train that was going the other way came, and so the guy came over and says, "What's your name and what's your serial number?" And anyway, we had everything there. We handed him, he said, "Okay," he says, "Get a seat." So we got a seat, and I can remember we were in no man's land. I mean, it was no man's land, South Carolina.
I was going to say you were still on the East Coast, though,
Oh,
South
yeah.
Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, so we went over the bridge, we went to Paris Island. That's where the Marine Corps recruiting office was.
Okay.
So anyways, I remember it. The kid I was with was from Arkansas. Yeah. And they told us they gave us a box. And my father knew wear old clothes so you don't have to send them home. I remember that. I remember that. So anyways, we got the box, and you put if you wanted to send your clothes home, you put it in a box. And I had this a jacket, and it was from St. John's. St. John's, I think, was the name of the church. Yeah, St. John's. It was from the baseball team.
Okay.
We won, and we got these jackets. Anyways, I wrapped the jacket up in the box, and that's the only thing I sent home was that.
Your
That
jacket.
old jacket. Anyways, and it was so funny on Paris Island. Some of these kids, they were from the deep south.
Yeah.
Dumb, they didn't know, they were strong, good fighters and stuff like that. And we had one kid with us. He was from Brooklyn, New York, and he played the saxophone.
Oh, nice.
And he had his saxophone there.
Was he any good?
Oh, man, was he good. Oh, my God, he was good. And he ended up, we went through boot camp, and we were in an area, it was called AT, awaiting transfer. And when the war was going on at that time, normally they had 2 or 3 platoons on the same training day.
Mm-hmm.
So you would compete. Our troop was competing against 2 other troops. There was 3 troops. So there were 300 of us.
Because when you were 16, I mean, you were born in 28, so that means 38, 40, 1946, and that was when Pearl Harbor,
Pearl Harbor,
year
yeah,
after.
yeah. Anyways, I can remember we lined up and they gave us this box and it said to put your clothes in there that you want to send home, and otherwise hold on to the clothes that you're not going to keep. So anyways, we were standing there lined up in a line, and they said, okay, you got your box that you're going to ship home, and, everything. We had put our address and everything on it, and so they took those boxes. Okay, and we went over to the train station, and they say, okay, strip down. So here we're in the train station, and they said strip down. Anyways, the guy says, when we say strip down, he said, we mean everything.
Oh my gosh.
So we were all bare ass. I mean, we didn't have a stitch of clothes on us. And we got on this train, and the train went from that city, and the only place it went to was Paris Island, to the Marine Corps
Well,
base.
yeah, no clothes. Jeez.
And I remember seeing these people on the side of the road that lived there. Oh my God, it was unbelievable, unbelievable. Anyway, we landed on Paris Island, and every one of us were stark naked, and they says, you know what size you are. If you knew what size you were okay, so you got in line. And if you were a 36 or a 38, they gave you a box, and you had underwear and your basic.
Okay, everything
Your
set up
basic
in the
Marine Corps
box.
uniform.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was so funny.
So after you went through boot camp, how did you get chosen for the administrative work you did?
I don't know. But anyways, we come back from boot camp. We went home.
Oh, okay.
We had a 7-day
Leave?
leave, yeah.
Okay.
So everybody went home, then you come back. And we were in this AT area, and there were 300 of us. Anyways, we lined up, and they says, okay, we're gonna go clean a certain area. And we got in line, and you got in line, and they gave you a stick with a big spike at the end of the stick and a bag.
Picking up
And
trash?
you're picking up shit and putting it in that bag. I'll never forget it. Oh my God, we did that. And then every morning they would call out your serial number. And if your serial number was called, that means you've been assigned. And we were down, there were only 3 of us left. 3 guys left. And we said, where the hell are we going? Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And we were working in the kitchen, and we were washing dishes and doing all these shitty jobs, So we went and we went we're going to so-and-so school. So we went to the school, and they were teaching us how to use a typewriter.
All right.
We were gonna be I forget what they call them, but anyways.
Like administrators, yeah. Clerks.
Yeah,
Clerk,
clerks. Anyway,
yeah.
there were 3 of us. And finally, it was down to just 2 of us. When there was only 2 of us, we had it made. We didn't do much of it. We just hung around. So finally, we got a call, and we got our orders, and our orders, both of the two of us, and they says, you're going to Arlington, Virginia. So we said, Arlington, Virginia? What the hell's in Arlington, Virginia?
Oh, nothing.
Anyways,
Just the Pentagon, but
I can remember as the two of us looking out the window as we're going up the East Coast, you know,
Yep.
this train was a slow train. You could see beautiful countryside,
yeah.
and poor people and kids and whatever. Anyways, we landed at South Station in Boston, and anyways, we didn't know where to go, what to do. We just walked out like everybody else, and we stood there, and they saw us. So they says, "Are you two Marines for what did they call it? I forget what they call it. Anyways, we said, yeah." So anyways, it was at night. When we got there, it was like after dinner.
Okay.
So they took us and they said, "Did you have anything to eat?" We said, "No." So they took us to the mess hall and they gave us some food. And then we went out of the mess hall and we went around the back side of the mess hall, and they says, "Upstairs." So we went upstairs and there were cots, and we figured, oh, geez, what the hell are we going to be doing here?
You still didn't know?
We didn't know where the hell we were going. Anyways, that was just overnight.
Yeah.
So we spent the next 3 days on this station. Three of us. We had a new spike and a new pole, and we were going around where these barracks were, and they were beautiful barracks. Jason, Mary, and Joseph. So anyways, we were there for 3 days, and then they called us. We got assigned. Anyways, went in and got a bed and whatever, you know, and you get your duffel bag, and it was during the war. The Pentagon, you know, the Pentagon building
Right.
was down here at the base of the hill, and the Marine Corps headquarters and the Navy was up here on the top of the hill.
Okay.
Okay, and where the Pentagon was, right next to the Pentagon was Arlington Farms was the name of it.
Okay.
And what it was a huge dormitory, and it was for all women.
Okay.
And they had dances every Friday and Saturday night.
Well, I know you were
We
there.
never missed a day. Yeah.
Well,
Anyways,
what happened when you went home on your 7-day leave? Was Grandpa happy that you were in the Marines?
Oh yeah, they were glad to see me. But anyways,
Was he a hard man?
who?
Your dad?
My dad. He was a boxer, and in 1922 he won the middleweight championship, world middleweight championship, in the Irish Games in London, England.
Oh my gosh.
So he was a big prick. I mean, he was tough as nails.
Well, I kind of guessed that.
Yeah.
Even when I was 12, staying that summer out there, just the rules he had for Grandma were like crazy.
Yeah. He was one tough son of a gun. But anyways, we made it.
Well, so then after the Marine Corps, when you got out of the Marine Corps, that's when you applied to go to college for that year?
Yeah, I was on we had the GI Bill of Rights.
Okay,
You know.
yeah.
So I went home. I'm trying to remember the other kid's name. He was Greek. There were two of us, and we were we were told where we were going. And I remember we had a football, I think it had something to do with football scholarship. Anyway, we got to Boston to the train station, and my friend got scared shit, and he says, "I'm going home."
Oh, he's afraid to go to New York?
He was afraid to go. Anyway, he went home, and I went to the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
We went on a train, and anyways, we got on the train, and we went to New York, and we stayed in the Marine Corps barracks there someplace. Then we get on another train, and the train went up, I forget the name of the, New York, went up the mountain, base of the mountains, up to Plattsburgh, which was way up at the top on the
Yeah.
Canadian border.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went up to Plattsburgh. And it was a former, it was a army base. And there were two places up there. One was a Navy base and the other was the Marine Corps base. And that's where I ended up at that Marine Corps base. And I went to school learning to be a typist. And I guess I wasn't a very good typist with that typewriter.
I don't know. You do good. You do good.
Yeah.
So you were in the Marine Corps for 2 years? Did they do shorter enlistments
I
then?
think I was in there for almost 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So how'd you find your way down to Miami to be the captain of the bellhops? What made you decide to go way down south? The cold New York weather on the Canadian border?
I'm trying to remember. There were 3 of us. The kid that we were with, he had a you know, the automobile, and it's got all wooden all around it.
Oh, yeah. Like those old woody wagons, that
Yeah,
kind of a thing?
yeah,
Okay.
Anyways, they were both from a city outside of Boston called Quincy. And Quincy was, like, here's Boston. Quincy was over here on the water.
Right. I remember that name. Yeah.
Anyways, those 2 guys were from Quincy. And I don't know how it happened. Anyways, we got on the one kid he had this station wagon. And we got on the station wagon and we were in Arlington, Virginia. I remember that. And I said, I'm going home. I'm not going to go with you guys. So I got off and I got on the highway and I stood there and I was bumming and nothing happened. So I went back and I joined my 2 friends, and that's how we ended up on Paris Island.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And on Paris Island, Jesus, we were down to, there were only 3 of us left. And we got a sign, and they said, you're going to Arlington, Virginia. So we got on the train, and the 3 of us, and we were on our Marine Corps uniform. We got the big duffel bag, with everything you owned in it. And we got off the train in Boston, and they spotted us. And walked over to us, says, "Are you guys looking for Arlington, Virginia?" We said, "Yeah." He said, "Let me see your orders." We showed him our orders. "Yeah, these are the guys we're looking for." And it was at night, and we in the evening, and they took us and they said, "Do you have something to eat?" We said, "No." And they said, "Okay, so we're going upstairs to leave your duffel bag up there and come back down. We're gonna go get something to eat for you." We thought that's where we were gonna be living, working in the kitchen. We thought that's what we were going.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, so I say, in the Marine Corps during the day, you wore your work clothes, dungarees and boots and shit,
Yeah.
So it's on the kid and I, two of us. We come down, we come down in the morning, and we were dressed up in our bullshit uniform, and we got our orders, and it says report to room so and so on whatever. So where the barracks were, across the street from the barracks, about a half a block away, was the Marine Corps, was at Navy Reserve headquarters.
Okay.
And the Marine Corps had their headquarters there. Anyway, we went over to the Marine Corps headquarters in
your work
our
clothes.
work clothes. And we got a sign. And I can remember we got a sign, and they walked down the aisle, and they said, "There's 2 desks there. Each take a desk. This is your assignment." And there were officers in the back of the row in their uniforms with all their medals and shit, and they were wearing